Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and today we're going to take a look at mainly loose graded vintage Star Wars figures. We got some loose graded diecast, a multi-pack, and as you can tell by this thumbnail, some Japanese POPYs sold from AFA/CIB on eBay in an auction in varying degrees of condition, but the prices were no less eye-popping. So I wanted to go ahead and get started. As always, thanks to my Patreon supporters. They get my buy it now alerts on Patreon. So if anything I see that pops up that looks like a good deal or worth watching, if it's an auction, I'll send it over to them when I have time. I don't do it every day, but I do send as many as I can depending on my schedule. So I hope you guys are enjoying those, and I appreciate those of you that use those affiliate links for those buy it now alerts. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. This is one that was sold from by a friend of mine, and I had never seen this before, or if I had seen it, I forgot about it. This is a hard torso Hong Kong R2-D2 sensor scope. So just like the Stormtroopers or the Hoth Stormtroopers use the hard torso, so too apparently does R2-D2 sensor scope, which I did not know that. So I'm assuming that that middle barrel piece is just a different type of plastic, a harder type of plastic than is standard. This one was graded 80 plus, and again, it's a Hong Kong variation. So very cool variant. It was listed for $189 plus $8 shipping. Quite honestly, I was tempted on it myself, but it was not meant to be. Just timing was pretty bad for me. But I thought that was a pretty cool variant that I either forgot about or did not know about. Probably the latter, because I don't remember stuff very well, and I just don't have any memory whatsoever of this, so I'm assuming I just never knew about it. This seller had a bunch of really nice high-grade AFA examples, all loose graded at high grade. This one was a silver IG-88 Hong Kong. So as we know, there's a silver version Hong Kong. There's a silver with hollowed eyes, as I showed you from my unboxing of items from Certified Link a month or two ago. And then there's also a gray body Hong Kong. So this is the silver with the standard eyes, as you can see right there. It looks like the standard eyes, hard to tell, but it was labeled just silver, so usually they label it silver/hollow eyes. It looks like the regular eyes to me. That one sold for $134.50. Pretty good deal there on a high-grade IG-88, criminally underappreciated IG-88. Next up was a Stormtrooper. Now, this one was graded 85, okay? It was a China COO. You'll have to excuse me, I'm still a little under the weather. China COO, AFA 85. Now, to me, it looks like, based on the photos, that the legs and the arms are starting to discolor versus the torso. You can see, at least in these photos, it looks like it's not quite an 85 anymore. So that's going to happen. I mean, that's just part of the deal with these Stormtroopers and why they're so expensive. This one sold for $239.40, which I would equate to, like, you know, an 80 plus grade. A true 85 that's super bright white. I've seen them sell even this year as high as $550 to $650, loose graded AFA 85. So this was a China COO, so maybe it's a different type of plastic, maybe not as good of plastic as the Hong Kong variation. Whether this was graded before this kind of slight discoloration happened or afterwards, I don't know. Maybe AFA accounts for the different types of plastic based on the country of origin, similar to what UKG does with Spanish figures, and even AFA, really. AFA does the same thing. They have a looser grading scale, in my opinion, both UKG, AFA, with Spanish figures, because we all know that the factories did not produce very high quality figures relative to Hong Kong. Do they do the same thing with China variants? I don't know, but it's just something to discuss, and maybe while you're leaving me a like, you can add your thoughts in the comments. Next up was an Imperial Hoth Stormtrooper Hong Kong split visor, and this was also a hard torso, so that's interesting. I didn't know that when I pulled this up for this video, but like the R2-D2 sensor scope, this was also a hard torso variation. This is one I do have in my collection as well. AFA 85, and, you know, again, you can look at this one and see that the torso is a different type of plastic. Now, in my opinion, this does not look yellowed to me. The arms and the legs don't look yellowed. It's just a different type of plastic used for the torso and the headpiece, obviously, since they're molded together. So it's just a little brighter. That's my personal opinion on it. I have no idea if that's true or not, but to me, it looks like the legs and arms are not yellowed. It's just because that hard torso is so bright white. That one sold for $203.50, which was a deal in my opinion. I think, again, like IG-88, the Hoth Stormtrooper, criminally underappreciated, especially because this was a variant. You know, this is a hard torso variant. I would have thought this one would have gone a little bit closer or even above what the China Stormtrooper went for, but the market says what the market says. Here was an Imperial Commander, Hong Kong, flesh face, curved brown eyes, AFA 85. That's one I wouldn't mind grabbing soon. I might do that because I've only got it's the Imperial guys that I'm kind of lacking. I want to get some of sometime this year. I want to get the Imperial Commander, AT-AT driver, not driver, AT-AT Commander, and the Death Squad Commander. I've got the Lily Lettys for the Imperial Commander and Death Squad Commander, but I wouldn't mind just getting a standard Hong Kong of some sort just to kind of pair with it. So those look really nice, and it's different enough versus the Letty that, you know, it kind of looks nice next to each other, just seeing the different variations. But 124.40, absolute bargain. I should have bid on that one, to be honest with you. I don't know why I didn't. I should have. Same with this one. This one also went for a fair price, $216.50 for an AFA 85 dark blue emblem Death Squad Commander. And again, maybe in the comments, let me know what you think. You got the dark blue emblem and the light blue emblem. I feel like it's the dark blue emblem that doesn't show up as much. And they're probably about equal, in all honesty. It's just maybe what I remember. But to me, it seems like the light blue emblem comes up a lot more than the dark blue emblem. So I don't know why I didn't bid on these. I mean, these were great prices. $216.50 on that one. Here was an old case red logo AT-AT driver, AFA 85. That one sold for $127.50. Good candidate to send in to get recased, or just leave it as is. It's got the dowels around his neck, so I don't know if you really need to recase that, but Hong Kong red logo. So there's a red and an orange logo. $127.50. Man, that's a good deal. Several different Fets sold. Here was a standard Hong Kong AFA 85. That sold for $232.50, which is about right. I mean, I always say standard Hong Kong AFA 85 going rate right now is $250. That's about right. This one sold for $242.50 after shipping before taxes. That's a pretty good deal. This was a bargain. I don't know how, I don't know why it sold so cheap, but this was a V5 Blaster Taiwan Boba Fett UKG 85% figured 90 score, so it's 90 sub score. This is every bit of an 85 grade. I mean, this is a beautiful figure. Look how beautiful that is. And maybe I'm a sucker for really good photos, but this, I mean, I'm just looking at it in detail here. It's got perfect paint, perfect visor. I mean, why did this sell for less than $200? I have no idea. I mean, what does a V5 Blaster go for just by itself? I mean, I feel like that's $100 now. To me, this is a really, really, really good deal. $192.75 in terms of US dollars, 155 pounds. Here was another beauty. This was a Lily Letty Boba Fett. So you can see there, Lily Letty, no COO, single scar, I assume. Let's see here. Yeah, single. No, it looks like it might be the double scar. I can't tell. It's hard to tell from the photos. But you can see there's a scar on the top there. I don't know if there's one on the bottom or not. It looks like the double scar to me. Either way, this one was listed for 500 pounds, which is $621. And the best offer accepted was 420 pounds, which is $523. That's a pretty good buy. That's a pretty good buy for a UKG 80% figure score of an 85. I mean, that every bit of an 80 to me. I've got an 80 plus grade AFA for the Lily Letty Boba Fett, and I don't see much difference between it. When I look at this one versus mine, you could almost argue that this one's in better condition than mine. So that was a pretty good deal there at $523 for UKG 80. I didn't see this one. I would have sent it out for sure, but I just didn't see it. It sold before I even sent it out to my Patreon supporters. This seller had two beautiful diecast, loose graded diecast ships that I did send out to Patreon supporters, and I assume they bought them. But this was a UKG 75 Millennium Falcon. It was listed for 240 pounds. It sold for 210 pounds, which is 261 US dollars. And then the Star Destroyer, the Imperial Cruiser, was a DCA graded example. And again, this case looks new to me. I have never seen this case style for the Imperial cruiser loose graded. They used to just slap it into like a box and have a couple of brackets around the side. But this has this really cool triangular thing going on. If you look at the bottom of it, it's got this really cool kind of like piece that holds it in place with triangles. I don't know if it's showing, but right here, you can kind of see it right there at the bottom there. It's got kind of a cool, you know, not triangle, but diagonal. Yeah, diamond shape. Diamond shape. That's the word I'm looking for. My brain's not working. But to me, I had never seen this case style before for the loose graded diecast. So I don't know if this is a new case or what, but that presents very nicely, very, very nicely. And again, it was DCA, which is affiliated with AFA. They graded this one AFA 80, and it was listed for 280 pounds, which is 347 US dollars. I tried to look it up what it sold for, but it wouldn't pull up on 130point.com for some reason. But, you know, I'd say probably 250 pounds ish, 300 US dollars ish, somewhere in that ballpark is probably about right. But that's a really nice looking case. I just like the way that presents very nicely. And then finally, I've got the Japanese POPYs that I had in my what to buy video a week or two ago that were at auction. And they were not all of them were super high grade, but you know, they're Japanese POPYs. They're pretty desirable, very hard to find. And the only time I really remember a Japanese POPY explosion like this was on Hakes when I bought my Japanese POPY Death Star droid. And they all went for big prices then. They were all AFA 85s or 80 pluses, things like that. I mean, they had the whole run, and he got some good prices for it because prices have come down on POPYs since that time. Of course, after I buy it, of course they've gone down in price. But here was the Luke Bespin graded AFA 60. So again, it wasn't the highest grade. That still sold for $720 though. I would think an AFA 85 would probably set you back $1,000 to $1,200, somewhere in that ballpark, if not higher. I don't know. The Vader is always one that goes for a lot of money. I think the AFA 85 that Hakes had went for a ton of money, big money. This was only an AFA 70, but Luke's dad was looking pretty awesome there in that box. And in all fairness, I do think that there is a discount associated with buying them like this, where you're just buying a box, versus the way I bought mine, where it has the box displayed with the catalogs and then the baggie next to it. It's loose graded, all splayed out, which I prefer, okay, because you can see the figure and all the kind of little cool Japanese exclusive catalogs. So to me, these should sell for a discount relative to how they graded mine. I just don't, I mean, to me, it's you're buying a box to hold on your shelf versus having it with the figure and everything like mine is. But that one did sell for $810. The Stormtrooper was AFA 75. That one sold for $797. And then the Death Star droid, which I have, this one was graded AFA 85 like mine. Again, mine's all splayed out. This one just has the box. That one sold for $800, which is actually up a little bit. Hakes had another AFA 85 Japanese POPY Death Star droid that sold 2 or 3 sessions ago for like $750 or so after the buyer's premium. So this one's up a little bit, but you know, the only thing I can think of is that the Death Star droid was pretty plentiful for the Japanese POPYs. I don't know why, but this is the third one I've seen in less than a year, and every one of them were AFA 85s. So that kind of makes me think that potentially they had a lot of leftovers of these. I don't know, but I'm just spitballing here. But $800 on that one. I paid $1,200 on mine, so I'm a little underwater on mine. So I'll probably, whenever I do sell that to pay for my kids' college, it's probably going to be an L. Got to take the L on that one. But I get to enjoy it during the time, you know, between when I bought it and now, and whenever I sell it. So there's some value there, okay, and I've made money on my other ones, so it's okay. I'm not crying about it. I'm just stating fact that you don't need to overpay for Japanese POPYs right now because they apparently have come down in price a little bit. And then finally, this is one I did not see either at auction, or I certainly would have shown you guys this. This was an Ewok 3-pack with Wicket, Paplu, and Tebow, graded U85, and the label says 3-pack catalog mailer. Very descriptive. AFA uncirculated 85. The box got an 85. The wrappers got 90. figures got 90. So that's a very high grade example. That's a big item though. I wouldn't have anywhere to put that. That sold for $1,120. And it seems like all of these multi-packs, like the villain packs or whatever, they all tend to go for a lot of money. They always go for over $1,000, $1,000 to $1,500. When you start talking about those really expensive, like ESB ones with the yellow box and things like that, that's where the big money starts rolling in. I'm sure there's other very exclusive Sears packs, early Sears packs, but some of these later Return of the Jedis, it seems like in high grade, they all go for about $1,000 to $1,300, somewhere in that ballpark. So this one was no exception. I hope you enjoyed this look at recent loose graded sales. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.